Hey, what's going on, my nerds and collectors alike? Today we are doing something a little bit different. Some of you may remember a video I did similar to this a while back. But today we are going to take a look at a couple of things here and do some customizing live on camera. Just to sit and chat about figures and see what some cool products might be. Because, as some of you may know, I have hit 100 subscribers. So, to commemorate that, we're going to take a look at a couple of things I picked up as extras, or didn't get around to reviewing, or picked up late, such and such. So we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Shang-Chi Xialing. We're going to be taking a look at the Target exclusive Shang-Chi Wave Katie. And we're actually also going to be customizing Katie's skirt, because the legs underneath that skirt are fantastic, and it's kind of sucky that they got hindered so much. So we're going to take a look at this skirt too, that I got off of Custom Cosmic Capes on Instagram. I will go ahead and link him down in the bio, and we will also see how this skirt plays out. Do keep in mind, for any US viewers, he does ship from the UK. So if you're having international shipping, things will take a little bit longer to get here. Mine, I think, took about 2 weeks. But still, gets here just fine. He gives you international tracking. All that fun stuff. So getting Katie out of the way, we'll go ahead and do a quick look at Xialing, which I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So, as you guys know, this is Shang-Chi's sister, Xialing. And going with the Shang-Chi figure, she does have a very similar costume to her brother here. They have very similar designs, pretty much the same kind of style going towards them. So doing a quick once over for articulation, her head is on a double dumbbell joint, so there's a ball joint up at the top, right in there, and also a ball joint down in the neck, which gives you very nice motion. So she can look up that far, she can go down that far, and of course that gives them a nice tilt. Her arms rotate 360 and come out a little bit past 90, which is very nice. Her elbows are a single joint, as most female figures are, but they do bend a little bit past 90, so that is also very nice, and they do have a swivel. Her hands also swivel 360, and are a hinge in and out. She has a diaphragm joint, which will give you almost no forward bend, sadly. Good amount of back bend. That also gives you your side to side, and that'll also be your swivel. Her legs kick forward that far, so a little less than 90. Don't kick back at all. They kick out that far. They are slightly hindered by her tunic, but not very. Kick out that far. There is a thigh swivel, a double jointed knee with the pinless technology. Her ankles, if you can actually get them past the sculpt, go pretty much all the way down. Do be careful with that hinge though, mine is a little bit stiff. And they go that far forward, so she has very good ankle articulation. So if you want to get her in some crazy combat poses, you obviously can. And as you can see here, she comes with multiple sets of hands, one of them being a set of fists and a set of chopping hands. She also includes one grip hand for her accessory, which is the rope dart. And she also comes with a set of Kung Fu pose hands. So that's very nice. Now, obviously I said this hand is used specifically for the rope dart. But one of the things we're going to try to do today is I want the rope dart to be free and loose, so I'm going to try to cut that off and use a nylon thread as a rope. So, first things first here, we will get to the customizing section later in the video. We'll go ahead and take a look at Katie. And Katie obviously is the Target exclusive figure for the Shang-Chi wave. So it says Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings, Marvel's Katie. On the bottom here you got your barcodes, warnings, legalese, all that fun stuff. On the side of the box there you got Katie. And there's the larger image of Marvel's Katie. For a quick bio, Katie, Shang-Chi's oldest friend, is free-spirited and fiercely loyal. Because they're spending the big bucks on those bios. Side over here, same thing. Just the same image of Katie with the Shang-Chi symbol. So not much going on. Top, same symbol. So we will go ahead and get her open. Always be careful with knives. Never know what people are going to do. Morris does come in his own little tray. So we'll go ahead and get Morris out of there. There we go. And as you can see, he is sitting with all 6 legs, and underneath he's got a nice metallic two-tone paint. But he's just a nice little companion piece to basically just sit. Katie here comes with her arrows and her bow and a quiver and an extra set of hands. Easy enough. There's some tape here, as always, for the hands. Which these are a set of fists. Her quiver is locked behind tape, her arrows are locked behind tape, it looks like her bow is locked behind tape. They just really wanted to use a lot of extra tape on this one. I guess they had extra tape at the factory and they just said, hey, why not use it on these? Oh no, okay, so her arrows are through the packaging. So she's got a bundle of arrows there, looks like 3. And she also has the individual arrow. And here is Katie, of course portrayed by Awkwafina in the movie, which sadly I have not seen yet, so guys, do try to keep spoilers out of the comments. But getting into her articulation real quick. So, her head is also on one of those dumbbell joints, so she gets some decent tilt. She can't really look back because of the hair sculpt, which is about what happens with all female figures. She just looked down pretty good. And of course, she's got tilt on either side, better on her right side than on her left, just because of how the hair is sculpted. Her arms hinge out, a little bit past 90 there. And they do rotate 360. Her elbows bend in ever so slightly past 90. And there is a swivel. Her wrists, as you can see, there is a flesh tone inlay piece here. If it'll focus. Come on now. There we go. Flesh tone inlay piece inside of the sleeve, so that's pretty cool. And her wrists swivel and hinge in and out. There's a diaphragm joint, so she bends forward that far, and you can't see it too much because of the belt blocking, but that is actually a pretty decent amount. Bends back, obviously quite a bit further. And she does have side-to-side articulation. Very nice, very nice. Let's get a bit of range there, and obviously that'll also give you your swivel on what sounds like a little tiny bit of a ratchet there. Now, her skirt, as of right now, blocks most of her articulation, but there are ball joints at the hips, not a hip swivel, a thigh swivel, double jointed knees with the pinless technology. And her ankles, the flush tone here is a separate inserted piece, so that gives her calf swivel. Her ankles are unhindered for articulation, so her ankles go all the way down. And basically all the way forward, so you can make her look like she broke her ankle. And she does have ankle pivot. So what we are going to do customization-wise is we are going to cut away this skirt piece and apply this cloth goods skirt piece, so that way that frees up the leg articulation. Go ahead and look at accessories here real quick. We do have a quiver with her, which looks very nice. You do have detail on there, and they highlighted some of the detail in silver. And I know the bow actually goes in the quiver like so. And the bundle of arrows goes on that side there. And I believe there is room left for the singular arrow. We'll see. A little bit of a snug fit, but it will go in there. So you can technically store all of her weapon accessories at least. And I know that her fingers do allow you to have her holding the arrow on its own. So that's also very nice, which means that she can actually nook her arrow on the bow. Let's go ahead and get the bow in this hand here. She grips that just fine, no problems there. The bow is a softer plastic, so you could technically draw it slightly, but I don't know how much I personally would want to do that in fear of breaking the string. But to each their own. If you're more daring with your figures than I am, knock yourself out. Feel free to leave the results in the comments. And just a quick size comparison. There is Katie with Xialing next to Shang-Chi and a previously customized Wenwu that I did not show you guys. I apologize. But if you want to see what inspired me to make that Wenwu custom, go ahead and check out the Leo Legendary 10 on Instagram. He made a custom more advanced than mine was, but I was inspired by his custom to go ahead and customize one on my own. I will go ahead and save you guys some trouble. The armor pieces here were the old shoulder piece, and these two hanging down soft pieces of rubber were from an old Mandalorian cape. And then this black tunic there, I used an old Darth Vader tunic and cut that up and measured that out to his waist there. And then the skirt that was here, I cut to use for the shoulder armor. And that hand is a fist from Taskmaster, painted black, and then having the fingers highlighted on it. So, clearing these figures out so that way we can get to the customizing part here. We'll get the trusty X-Acto knife, and we got the trusty super glue. Let's go ahead and, well, here. Let's test the fists first, because that one did look a little bit loose. Ah, no, that's just fine. Look at that. So if Katie loses her bow, you can always give her a good set of dukes. And have Aquafina punching the daylight out of somebody. Just for fun. So, this sash piece that goes around the skirt here is a separate hanging piece from the rest of the figure. As you can see right there. So what we are going to do is, basically, I'm just going to slice up this seam and try to replace it with this. Now, this is sewn right here at the top, so I'm not sure if we will have to do a heat and pop or what's going on there. Oh, that is coming apart a little bit, so do be careful with that stretching. And the skirt is actually coming apart on me. Not the biggest fan of that, considering I had to pay almost double to have it shipped over here, but we will see how it holds up. So just slowly slicing away up here. Don't want to cut into the sculpt of the figure at all, so we will... There we go. And that gets that nice and free. We can see where I had slipped and was cutting into the plastic there ever so slightly. But the figure's alright. That also frees you up to see actually just how much motion she does have. So let's see if we can't just slide this up, or if we need to do a heat and pop. No, it's gonna it looks like this is gonna take a heat and pop treatment. So we will pause, and I will come back when her torso is apart. Alright, getting back into it here. We do have Katie popped in half. I did use a little bit of heat. Luckily the peg seems to be staying in place there. So we will just slide that right over as so. Which looks perfectly tailored to that. So we might actually escape having to use some super glue. Alright, so that piece looks like was tied together this way. So we'll just go ahead and put that there. Trying to keep this as tight on the bottom here as possible. And then quickly while it's warm, pop that back on, and there you go. So now Katie has her skirt. The belt piece is a little bit loose around there now, but that will also keep it so where we have a little bit of extra range to play with. Now, I know that this is, once again, from Cosmic Capes on Instagram. He specifically tailors for Marvel Legends. This was the closest fabric he could get to the red of this. The skirts do look, the plastic skirt, it's just a little bit longer than this. And obviously, this skirt has the detail sculpted on it, whereas this does not, but this will also give you the room to have that bellow out and the wind there, make it look all cinematic like. And this will actually also allow you to see that Katie has the widest kick of all of the Shang-Chi wave, which is kind of hilarious. So, since I neglected it last time, Katie can kick forward 90 degrees, backward not very much. She can kick out roughly 75 degrees. There is a thigh swivel. She does have double jointed knees, and she can kick her own back. And as shown before, she does have the ankle swivel, the ankle hinge, and of course the rocker. So now that our lovely red archer, Katie here, has her skirt piece, which is what he calls the skirt on his store. It is called the Red Archer skirt, for any of you who are interested. We'll go ahead and get her bow firing hands on here again. I am trying to remember which way. I believe her quiver here is supposed to go on this way. If I am wrong, please do correct me, because I am always accepting of information. I'm not sure if it goes this way or not. Well, for our purposes, we will just go ahead and remove this because we are cheeky. And anything that hinders articulation can be removed. Now, I do want to say that this skirt ran me $22.50 with tax and shipping, just because it was overseas shipping. For anybody in the UK, however, this item will only run you $12 plus tax, or sorry, 12 euros plus tax, because he does have free shipping to the UK. And the conversion rate for USD to euros is a little bit steep. So we've got her bow in hand there. Go ahead and get her arrow. Get that wedged between her fingers. So you can get something like that. Have the bow drawn forward there. Oh. Let's see here if there's a feather that sticks in a little bit better. There you go. You could also use a little bit of putty if you really wanted to, but there we are. So you can get her into more dynamic posing now, which is very nice. I'm a little bit worried just about the stitching right there, seeing as that did start coming apart on me, but it does seem to stop. If I get too worried about it, I will use our good old friend Loctite and try to dab that up a little bit, see if I can stop the seam from pulling anymore. But for my needs and purposes, this looks just fine. And of course, if you want her in a more just hanging out look in her red uniform here, well, I said should say, I'm sorry, I can't talk today, her red dress, you can just have that hanging. This does stick out a little bit, but seeing as the belt is a floating piece, you can futz around with that. There you go. See, looks just fine. So there is Katie's customization, which is looking pretty good. And we can use this for customs down the line or whatever. So this will be tossed into the fodder bin. Now with Shiling's rope dart here, we're gonna try to take some nylon cord, cut this off at both ends. Probably just gonna try to glue it and see how that works out. Sadly, I do not have any beige or rope-ish color nylon cord, so I'm just going to use a dark brown, and this is the thinner nylon cord on the spool here. There was also a thicker black that I used for a Boba Fett grappling hook back on a previous video. So we're going to be using the thin brown cord today, and we will see how that'll play out. Alrighty, so we got our nylon cord off the spool there. And all I'm going to do is take one end and try to match it as best I can to this length of rope there. So we're going to loop it a couple times and see if we can't match it out a bit. Looks like it is 2 loops and then it hangs down. So starting from there, just loop it down a little bit and then have it come up, but leave enough to hang. Loop it down another time and give it the same amount of slack, and then have it hang down right there. So we will have that much length of rope dart. ahead and just snip that off. And I do like to use a little bit of heat, so I'm just going to take a lighter and kind of right there at the end, so that way the composite material shrinks down and it's not going to fray. You'll go ahead and do it at this end too, just in case. Give it just a little bit of heat. That's all you need. So now that we've got that length of cord, this can be wrapped back up for use for another custom at some point. And for the rope dart here, I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife, cut it right down at the red on both sides, which leaves us with a little ring of rope there. I'm just going to take some Loctite, which this is the gel version, and we are going to wrap it around that loop there and try super gluing that into place. So all we're going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of Loctite, put a drop there, and a drop there, and I'm going to take top of the rope, doesn't want to hold there, so we will try here. We'll do another drop on the back. Remember, just little drops and then trial and error. So get that pressed there. And then have that wrap right there like that. And then I'm going to put another drop right there and have it come up. So there we have that. Now that's attached. And we will just do the same thing to the little monkey's fist there. We will try to cut that nub down a little bit. So just line it up ever so slightly, push, and there we go. And that should be all the cutting we have to do. So we'll go ahead and cap the X-Acto, set that aside, and we'll be a little more daring with this one since we have a little bit more workspace. Put a drop at the top right there. Get it in there and just kind of let it sit for a moment. See if it'll take. There we go. Nope. Nope. Not wanting to work on that one either. So we will do the same thing. Put a little bit right there. Being a little more fiddly on this end, probably because it's a smaller work area there. And yeah, I did forget to trim my nails on this one, guys. I apologize if my hands look nasty. Just kind of doing a quick one here. I'll go ahead and give that an extra dab just to make sure that that dries where we want it to. Close her up, and we are good to go. Alright, so while that dries, we'll go ahead and blow on it a little bit. Help that cure. And now we have a rope dart with a rope. And you can go ahead, take Xiling here, and I'm sure that this will still fit in her hand just fine. Of course, this is the end that hangs down. Have that rope down slightly. Loop it again. And because I'm bad at looping, we'll go ahead and give her a third loop just to simulate the lower hang down of how the plastic was. And there you go. She still has her hanging rope, but now she also can use the rope dart to throw at her enemies, or you can wrap it around her like the loops were intended. You can wrap it around the shoulder, or you can wrap it diagonally across, which is what I will probably do when she's not using it. And if Katie here is not using her bow, you can of course always take her extra hand and give it to Xiling here to use for extra grip. Or if you're interested enough, you could probably just slice these two fingers apart here and have the rope slide in between that, if you don't want the pose, of course. So that's just a little bit of customizing today, guys. I did want to get something to kind of do, just to sit here and chat, do something live, something different than a regular review. And I want to say thank you guys for having the faith in me to have reached 100 subscribers. It's been a good 6-7 months since I've started up, and it's been a wild ride. I definitely am enjoying it. I'm just a dude who wanted to share his action figures online, and 100 of you at least said that you enjoyed that too. So I would like to say that this is just the beginning of the reviews on this channel. We're going to try to keep them pumping out over the next year, especially with new releases, and keep her going and see how far we can get. I do want to say that this channel and all of its content are not for the ages of 13 years or younger, just because of YouTube's guidelines. Once again, guys, thanks for sticking with me on this journey. I hope you're having fun. Stay safe.